The course.
All right, let's get started. Hi, welcome back. Dan here from FS Elite. I'm joined by Collin from TFDi Design.
Hello.
Collin, thank you so much for having a moment to talk with me.
Absolutely.
First of all, third day of Expo. How are you liking it so far?
This has been awesome. It's so nice to see it back huge, full of people again.
Yes.
The one in 2021, of course, was awesome too. They all are, but it's just there's so much cool stuff to see here. So many familiar faces. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's been super nice to see so many people, and yeah, it's been absolutely great. All right, so the biggest thing I think, let's get right into it. It's right here behind us.
We have the
MD11. Yes.
There it is, flying behind us. So we've been working on this for a couple of years. Right here we have it's actually in MSFS now. Finally, we've had a lot of silence over the last couple of months. Part of the reason for that was so we could have something to kind of wow everybody with here. So I guess where do we want to start? Just
yeah, I mean, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're showing here today, and because you're showing a fully working, flyable MD11. I think so far we've seen
very little
previews, very little. So how is the project coming along? And
very well.
Yeah,
very well. So the way that we developed it, we kind of had we've made a platform that lets us write a lot of the code externally. So that's what we've been posting pictures of. We've been, you see the PFD or the overhead with our little 2D drawings. And although it doesn't look like a lot, that's the majority of the code already. I would say we're probably 70 to 75% done with the code.
Right.
And we're only really now seeing it in sim, despite it being almost done.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason for the weirdness. And what we're showing here is pretty much, I've been calling it a tech demo, because I have the auto flight disabled just because I wanted to tune it a little more for MSFS. I wanted to make sure it felt right, and it didn't quite get there before today. But even that's 90% coded. It just needs to be tuned a little bit. What we have here is we have the displays on. We're showing that it works. It's flyable. We have our second iteration of our flight dynamics in there, so it feels nice and slow and heavy the way you'd expect a big plane. It feels like you're flying a small city.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It should. So what we're showing here is, we have the dial of flaps working, we got all the flight controls in there. So you get in, you fly it, you get to feel it. And we also have a demonstration of some of the failures in the MCDU. So you can go in there, you can fail a hydraulic system, you can fail some of the computers, you can have an engine fire. And we wanted to kind of demonstrate the level of fidelity. Right. The way we see it, of course it's going to have autopilot, right? Of course the engines are going to start. It's kind of a given. Our 717 had all that stuff. It's going to be in there. What we have here is what wasn't there in the 717 in terms of fidelity. Little stuff like the CRTs, they don't just snap on, they fade in when they have to warm up. Yeah. But once they're warm, they'll stay on. You turn it off, come back in an hour, they'll warm back up again. Little details like that we really wanted to show off here. And that's what we've been letting people do. And I've really been enjoying it so far, it seems like.
That's very good to hear. It looks, certainly, like I said, we've been seeing snippets, previews so far. We were all quite surprised when we got here, and we were like, there's an actual flying MD11. Yes, very well. It looks very well. So in terms of timeline-wise, where are you at, and how is it going?
So we were originally aiming for Q3 2023, and I'd say we're probably still on track for that, but more in an early access format, and not just because of timelines, but also by design. Yeah. We've seen, the 717, of course, those of you that followed us know that it kind of came out in an early access form unintentionally. Yes. And we've been pretty upfront about that. But once we got through that initial hurdle and some of those mismanaged expectations, that community beta proved very effective. We had 1,100 people testing that, and we fixed like 350 things, and it totally reshaped the future of that project. We then did the same thing knowingly, a little different release strategy, but a similar concept with Smart Cars 3. We did it with PAX, and the results has been consistently better user experience across the board. So we want to do that here. It's impossible for 10, 20, even 50 of us to get it right for 20,000 people or more. So let's bring them in voluntarily, let them be part of it. So we're still going to do that. We're on track to do that maybe even sooner than I expected. Yeah. Get something flyable, because you see here it's flying. So there's only going to be a couple of weeks between this and it can do full flights. Yeah, fair enough. So we're pretty close to that point. So I think that we'll probably see something flyable coming into at least collector's edition hands, hopefully sooner than expected. And then not too long after that, we'll start, the pre-sale. Customers will start getting their early access versions as well. All right, very good.
So this plane obviously is being developed for both prepared and MSFS. Yes. A lot of comments that we get are like, is one holding up the other, or rather, is prepared holding up the MSFS version?
You would think that would be the way that it is. It was actually kind of the other way around in the beginning. MSFS is an entirely new environment. Yeah. So we had to learn, new rendering technology, a new way of doing things. Even the way we handle our code for performance reasons, we had to be a lot more careful. We've always tried to be pretty good about that, but MSFS leaves no room for error when it comes to performance. So in the beginning, yes, there was definitely a little bit of stress and a little bit of friction to try to get them to align. But we've now created a platform that, without a whole lot of hassle, compiles the code code for both platforms is pretty much a drop down.
Right.
So
okay.
doing that now, the answer is no. It doesn't really hold it up at all. And now that we've crossed that hurdle, it's something we can reuse potentially in other planes. Hint, hint. But it's something that we're going to be able to build on here and kind of keep both platforms in parity with each other without too much additional work.
Yes. Okay. All right. Very good. So last year you had the collector's edition sale.
Yes.
And here you've opened the pre-order sale.
Open pre-orders. Yes.
There have been a few comments, I think. Like,
yes.
What is going on with that? Would you care to give a comment?
Yes, absolutely. So at a first glance, I realized yesterday we kind of launched the pre-sale without a lot of context. It's a little different for us standing here because we've had customers able to come in and look at it and see that it's flying. And then it occurred to me that this is not all over the world. This is just here. So that's on us. So we're going to be putting out some demos and everything to kind of get everyone on the same page as to where the project is really at in terms of status. But the pre-sale itself, I borrowed a lot from the AAA game industry here. The early access model, the pre-sale, I know not everyone is a fan of it, and I understand that. And if somebody doesn't want to pre-order, please don't. There's no pressure. We're not offended if you don't. It's a way for us to support the project and a way to continue to do this. Some of us are full-time. We want to keep doing that and make sure that we do it right. The pre-sale is a way for us to encourage that and let somebody kind of get in and invest in the project if they want to.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're trying to offer some incentives. The collector's edition got the ER and a serialized version, which was a very special thing. And then we've got, the pre-sale. You save a couple of bucks and you get to the preload thing. I know has been a kind of unclear. What we're doing with that is, again, AAA game. It's something that happens a lot there.
Yeah.
Let you download it, a couple days in advance. Now you can't fly it early, but you skip all the download and the waiting on launch day.
Yeah,
which means
exactly.
If our servers are getting absolutely slammed, you're not waiting 6 hours for your download. You're waiting 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what our goal is, and it kind of spreads it out for us and makes it a smoother release for everybody.
Yes.
That's the goal here. Give people the option to support the project, get in early, and make it smoother for everyone.
All right, fair enough. And yeah, you said it. You kind of hinted at it back there, like other aircraft.
Yes.
You have worked on the 717 in the past, and I think it was an aircraft beloved by many.
I think so. Yeah. It developed a strong following.
Microsoft Flight Simulator has certainly reinvigorated the market, and I see a lot of popularity with the smaller kind of jets.
Yes.
Is the 717 making a return, perhaps?
So up until this point, I have not officially commented on this because I don't want to sign us up for anything. The way I see it, we've already collected money for the MD-11, and that is our priority. We owe that to the customers and the supporters of that project, and we're not going to spend any effort on anything else until we've delivered on that promise.
Yes.
That being said, we did develop an entire platform. It would be a little strange to do that just for one plane. We also do happen to have most of the assets and code for a 717 just laying around. So
I wonder why.
I wonder why. So do with that what you will. We don't plan to abandon the plane. We'll put it that way.
All right.
I can't make promises about when and how, but we do not plan to abandon that project.
No promises, but sounds slightly hopeful there.
It is very hopeful.
Collin, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. This MD-11 is heading places probably not for the best.
We'll leave it.
No worries. I want to thank you for talking with us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the MD-11 hopefully coming soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.